So I get to the pool and they've shut it down because some kid did God knows what in there last night. But regardless, we're still gonna yap about Angron today. Angron is one of the traitors of the Horus Heresy, obviously. He is also the demon primarch of the World Eaters. Angron is one of the 18 known primarchs. We don't really know actually what world he started off on, but through some magic of the warp, he was deposited on the planet of Nuceria. And during his time in the gladiatorial ring, Angron met a fellow slave named Enemeus, and they were kind of a tag team and really did well in these combats. However, the ruling family that purchased him said, you know what, now you guys have to deathmatch against each other. And Angron and Enemeus refused, and they were fitted with what are called the butcher's nails. Butcher's nails are cybernetic implants that just make you angrier and destroy parts of your cortex to just sort of enhance your natural fighting instincts. So you become angrier, you become more aggressive, but at the detriment of your own well-being over time. So anyways, Angron, some of his other siblings from the Deshelica Ridge area of Nuceria and others created a band called the Eater of Cities, and they were kind of rebels rebelling against the gladiatorially inclined royals of Nuceria. And things were not going well because turns out having nails in your brain makes you bad at leadership and stuff like that. Anyways, eventually the emperor reunites with his son. There's a lot I'm skipping over here for the sake of brevity, but he takes his son and starts the Astardesification of him, puts him in power armor, and just leaves the nails in, you know? He's like, you know what, this is a fun, cool experiment. We might as well just see like what the nails does with the transhuman physiology. This is gonna be really cool, guys. Angron is the primarch of the World Eaters, which he named after the Eater of Cities Legion, his sort of rebel slave alliance on the planet of Nuceria, and things don't go well. He's very valiant in the Great Crusade, but very early on in the heresy, he turns against his father because this man literally put nails in his brain as like a fun science experiment to see where things go. Anyways, at some point, he teams up with his good buddy Lorgar and says, you know what, let's go back to Nuceria and free all of my siblings. And they arrive back on Nuceria, and most of his siblings are unfortunately no longer alive back on Deshelica Ridge. So Angron picks up a bunch of their skulls and wears them as a bandolier. That's right, on his model, this is not like some skulls for the skull throne shit. These are his fallen brothers and sisters in the Eaters of Cities, and he wears these skulls for very sentimental reasons. Eventually, in one of the very notable battles in the heresy, Rabute Gilliman comes down to Nuceria, where Lorgar and Angron are trying to liberate the people of Nuceria, and Rabute comes down and fights with his brother Lorgar. And Lorgar is losing the fight. He's been kicked in the chest, he's wounded, and Angron comes back through these waves of Ultramarines and starts fighting Rabute. During this fight, one of the skulls on his bandolier gets loosened, it's knocked to the ground, and Rabute, this fucking asshole, takes a skull and like crushes it with his boot. And this moment of just absolute rage that the skull of one of his siblings from Deshelica is just desecrated in this way causes Angron to turn into a demon prince of chaos right in front of everybody's eyes. It's definitely one of those moments in like the Warhammer lore that you know that like slow metal music is playing, like the crushed skull, the demon transformation, the blood raining from the sky at this point. Very metal, very not cutesy, not demure. And once back on his ship, Angron commands his people to build him a skull throne, which is where we get these skulls for the skull throne meme from Warhammer 40,000. And yeah, Angron, not a jerk. Emperor of Mankind, kind of a jerk. Rabute Gilliman, lawful evil AF. Anyways, Angron's story is super tragic, and yeah, I'll see you guys soon for hopefully the typhus episode, or just let me know who you want me to yap about at the pool next.